Good morning. So we are on week 4, I think. We're on week 4 of our book club. We're reading You Are a Badass. And this week was through chapter 7 through reading through chapter 12. So 5 chapters. And I'm just going to give a brief overview. And then we can go from there. And I gotta check because we may have ended. We may have already read chapter 7. I should maybe put a bookmark where we are.
This is the only part of this. It's my book. Oh,
it was just talking about what would my hero do and not caring what other people think and building it up like it takes time to see yourself from someone else's eyes. And I guess from there, how would they see you? What would they think that you're going to go do? And how well do they think you're going to do at it? So chapter 8 is what are you doing here? And let me find what I highlighted a lot in this one. This is the one that you're trying to figure out what your purpose is. You have the perfect gift to the world, but what is it? So it's just talking about how a lot of times giving something the excitement is a lot stronger than receiving something because you put so much effort into thinking about the person that you're giving it to and like all this stuff, like all the anticipation of actually giving it away. It's a lot more in depth for the person giving the gift and for the person receiving the gift. So then she goes on to say on 73, every single person is born with a unique and valuable gifts to share with the world. Once you figure out what yours are, and you decide to live and put them to use, that's when and only when the real party begins. Living a life on purpose is available to everybody. So then she goes into like kind of how to, if you're not sure what you're supposed to do, how to figure that out. And on 74, then she gets into like what is the person that you've inhabited so obviously awesome at? Like what are you excited about? What do you get excited about? What connections do they have? What do they have the most fun doing? And so I started thinking about all of this and just being like, okay, what resources and opportunities, if I got to be whoever I wanted, what resources and opportunities would that person already have? And like kind of looking at yourself like an alien and like you came down and took over someone's body, what would that person be incredibly good at? So then I highlighted, be the alien for 24 hours and see what you come up with. Just going through these, something that stood out to me is when you're asking questions and like wasting hours and days and years trying to figure out what your next perfect move is, just doing something. Get out of your head and take action. Like just by doing something, it's going to lead you to the next thing. And then on 75, the top 75, most answers reveal themselves through doing, not thinking, which is awesome because we got a lot of doing going on. Like, every person that I talk to is like, I'm doing blah, 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 and it's not working. And it's like, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Because in doing what we're doing, even if it takes 30 to 60 to 90 days to see that result, from just the activity you did this month, look at what you're creating for 90 days from now. Like, that's insane. And my question was, are you going to quit anytime soon? Well, what do you mean? Are you going to light your starter kit on fire? Are you going to burn it? Are you quitting? Well, no. Okay, are you still going to need business in 90 days? Well, yes. Okay, what are you bummed about? Like you're building a business. You're not building right now I'm getting paid today on everything I do today business. You're building this takes work and time business. So just taking a step in the first direction towards something that feels right, and then it's going to lead you to the next thing. That was really cool because I think that I am somebody that I stop and think about it so much that it's almost like I overthink it to the point that I don't do anything. And I'm like, but what if it's wrong? What if I did this incorrectly? Okay, but do I get a second chance? Like, whose lives am I ruining? What about, and like the list goes on and on. It's not even that. It's like, okay, it's all a practice run. Everything you do, look at it like it's a practice run every single time. And then one of the things on 78, because she's going through numbers here, don't reinvent the wheel. Do the best wherever you're at. Everything that you do along your journey contributes to where you're going. And then number 5 is don't get caught up in the thunderbolt hype. So don't think that it just is going to fall out of the sky. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. And boom, your dreams appear. It's like, no, this is going to happen while you grow. You're going to grow and it's going to like add to you as you grow. So that's kind of cool. Well, like if you stop and think about it. And 6 is listen to your intuition. And we don't do that. Like we hear people, we get ideas, we are swayed one way or another, but the whole time in our gut, we knew what to go do. And then later we're like, man, I just wish I'd have listened to myself. Or I had all these voices coming in. Why didn't I just do what I thought I should have done? And my motto has become, because I've realized that I do this a lot, my motto has become, who can I be mad at when it's said and done? If there is another person's name in there that's not mine, I will not do it. Somebody just the other day, I don't remember what I was doing, and it wasn't even that big. And whatever it was, I was just like, no, I'd rather not be mad at you. He's like, I'm fine with that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not, so I'm not going to do it. And like go on to doing things that you need to do, whatever it is. All the answers that you need are already there. You just have to be quiet long enough to give them a chance to get through to you. And the video that I just posted was talking about how your dreams and your answers are always going to come quietly. It's not going to be screaming. It's not going to be shouting. It's not going to be a huge loud song that plays on the radio. It's going to be quietly, kind of like, how serious are you to listening to it? And that's when she gets into, like, down the road, she's talking about why do people meditate? What's the purpose? Okay, you can take meditation and get super weird with it, or you can just take it as you're being aware, you're being quiet, and you want to know what's actually going on in your head and your body. 7 was follow your fantasies, in the sense of our fantasies are our realities in an excuse-free world. So if you didn't have, like, if you got to do whatever you wanted, and that's like your perfect idea of what would happen, that's actually what your dream is. But you think that you have to explain it to someone or explain it away, all these things. And then she always comes back to love yourself. Have you noticed this? Sometimes it's just like, again, okay, I love myself already. Again. She keeps coming back to it. And then she gets into the loincloth man. Well, maybe I should stop, and if you guys have something to add to that chapter, we'll do that really quick. Jen, Peace, can you turn your volume down one click? Because it just keeps anything I say is echoing.
Sure, if I can remember how. I need a new computer.
Okay, does anybody have anything they want to add to chapter 7, or chapter 8, sorry?
I don't.
Jennifer Hess, shake your head yes or no. You're muted.
Okay, there. Okay, so I think of, a lot of the things that you said, that's just the everything you do in this journey is, and I think I've seen that through my life, but I think just doing Arbonne now, I've forgotten it. And so that was good to see again, is that, oh yeah, this is just a contribution and, a continuation of the contribution. I think that the whole fantasy thinking, like the first time I read it or whatever, I'm like, it just kind of glazed over it. And then I couldn't sleep last night, so I reread all this stuff. And so it was like, I'm like, oh man, that it just really popped out that, like, what do you think about when you're just kind of staring off and that's what you really want to be doing? And so that was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, I'm going to go back on mute.
The very next one, on the very first thing in chapter 9, I highlighted this because I want to put it on a sign and put it on my wall that says, it's better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Because I think in so many things, like, we care so much about what somebody else thinks. And I've seen this paralyze people on my team, like, to the point that they quit. They walk away and they're like, it's someone else's opinion. So pretty much this person is either in love with them or is respecting them or whatever, all these things for something that they never were. And to the point that that person can't do anything in life. So they literally have to get a new identity. And it's insane to me. And it's a good reminder to be like, okay, my husband can look at me completely sideways when I walk out in leopard print leggings, and he just shakes his head like, who are you? What are you doing in that? Or the fact that I have purple hair, he's just like, really? I don't even like purple. Awesome, it's not on your body. I don't like tattoos, and you have those. So, it's like, you can do that, but then in the same breath, that's the same person that if I'm not being me, he's like, where's Grace? What happened? Like, why aren't you doing what you want to do? And it took me a while to realize when we started dating, like, it was when he would say that, I'm like, don't tell me who I am, because I couldn't see that I was changing to who he was or who I thought he wanted me to be. When he was like, that's not why I fell in love with you. Where's Grace? So that's kind of crazy. But knowing that you have people that are going to do that for yourself, and that's through Armand, you're going to find that. You're going to have people, will every conversation be easy? No. Will you be yelling at each other and calling each other names at some point? Probably. But through that, it's like, are they leaving? No. Are you going anywhere? No. And talking to Stephanie last night, she made a comment, the book that they're reading, and I think a lot of you guys are on it too, the Dare to Dream, Work to Win by Tom Barrett, where he's talking about, like, I'm on a plane ride, and I am, like, this plane ride is going to be number one in the world. In this sense, it would be Arbonne. Like, this company is going to be number one in the world. You can choose to buy a ticket and get on the plane, but with or without you, I'm still going on this plane. Like, whether you jump on the plane or not does not affect whether I'm jumping on the plane. And, like, having that attitude totally changes and takes pressure off of who you're working with, in the sense of they're just watching you like, okay, I can come with you, but whether I come or not does not decide for you whether you're going. Does that make sense? And this is, I think it goes along the same thing. Just like, well, what will people think? Who cares? Are they on the plane with you? If they are, they're sitting next to you in a seat. They bought their own ticket. They're doing the same thing. If they're not even on the plane, what does it matter? But like into that, this where she's going on the Loincloth Man, and her chapter titles, I just laugh. I highlighted, he wasn't worrying about what he should be or be doing or what he was missing out on or what some chick from LA thought of his fancy crotch pelt. He didn't care. He was happy being him because that's what he wanted to do. Like, he didn't care. He had lost all of that. So chapter 10, she's getting into meditation and like talking about the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it, and pretty much there isn't, but it's just being aware and just letting yourself be quiet so that you can actually hear what's going on in your head. And I was laughing when she did somewhere in here where she said something about if you just can stop And then at the point that your brain just keeps going, like you might need to stop. And like as you do this, and it's a practice, because some days you'll be sitting there, you'll be all thinking and quiet, and you'll just be breathing, and then you're like, oh, did I pay my bills? Oh, what am I having for lunch? And it's just constant chatter in your head. And I remember hating praying because it was the same thing. Like I would fall asleep praying. And some people in the church that are like praying, they love to pray. Like that's where they get their energy. And I was just like, this is so weird. How can you do this? And then we did a Bible study that was talking about like how God wants to be your friend. And he wants to meet you how you're met. And that totally changed, I guess, how I saw God to me, because it was like, if I want to hang out with you, if I miss you, this is me. Hi! Are you there? Let's hang out. You want to go play? What do you want to do? It's like, if you stop and turn that around, like, that's what God's doing to me when he misses me. It's like the same thing. Honestly, when you just are quiet, that's a way that God can calm you and talk to you. But we are never quiet. So for people that are in a relationship or married, take that same thing. If that was your husband or wife, what would your relationship look like? You wouldn't have one. You know, if every time I walk to Bob and I'm like, talk to me, and he's like, yeah, busy, go away. Like this has been happening and it's driving me insane. So then I just get more obnoxious and I'm just like in his face, like, I need to talk to you. You know, it's like God can only do that so many times to us. And for some people, it could be a car wreck. For some people, it could be losing a loved one. It could, like he's going to do what it takes to get through and get your attention. But why when you could sit there and be quiet? Like, so this part has been super cool because it's made me start, like I've been excited to stop and have quiet time. And even when I'm training other people, it is really easy for me to get caught up in stuff. And it's like, you just keep going and going and going. And having boundaries. Like my vision story talks about every day, I make time to start my day every day with prayer, meditation, reading, exercise, and I have balance, boundaries, and abundance in my life again. And as I was reading through that, I stopped and was just like, what does that look like? What does that mean? Why? Because I am worth it. Like, I need to be quiet. I need to be able to just zone out. And even if you're just if you can work out for 15 minutes, it's better than nothing, you know, like doing that. How do you feel? Your day is so much better. And then the last couple days, jumping up and going and just like right out of bed, you've got so much stuff to do. And in a lot of ways being overwhelmed, being like, okay, I have to steer away in front of this truck that's going to run me over. And if I had stopped and gotten out of bed when I knew I should have gotten out of bed, I never would have had that feeling, because I could have read, which I read, but I didn't have time to work out. But I could have worked out for 10 minutes and been happy that I worked out for 10 minutes instead of all day being like, man, I didn't work out today. Man, I didn't work out today. You know, you see what I'm saying? So like giving yourself time, and the more that you do it, the more that you are going to crave it. And I don't remember where she says that in here, but just like having quiet time, like your day is so off if you don't have that. And it's been hitting me. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen schedule wise when Bob doesn't have a job. Like, I am so happy I have an office with a door, because I can go in my office and close it and lock the door, and chaos can be going on around me, but I still need to read, you know? And I know for everybody else, it could look completely different. So give me your thoughts on that.
I'm about to have a door. I need it.
I'm excited for your door.
There's going to be a big sign that says if the door is closed, do not come in.
You're like, I'm not here, go away.
Working, leave me alone.
Well, and I think too that in seeing different people's house spaces, like having somewhere that mentally is like Arbonne changes how they work.
Well, and Arbonne and mine, like there's nothing in my house I feel that is about me at all. Like, it's not my space, it's the three of them. And so, which is kind of selfish that I'm like, I'm taking this entire room for me. But I know I need that, so.
If you could fit it into a closet, you could fit it into a closet, but you
Right.
can't.
I need organization, so that part's exciting.
That is also kind of cool. I'm going to input that here a second. It's kind of fun watching people when they get started and like seeing people's frustration. 90% of it leaves when they have an organization, like when it's all organized and they can just see where their stuff is. So if somebody's constantly frustrated, I'm like, well, here's what, it's either that it's not organized or that you're not in action. One of the two. Which one is it?
But right now it's both.
If you figure out which one it is, you're happy again. Jennifer, number 2, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't. Not on this one. It's all good.
So on chapter 11, then she's getting into like our thoughts are our most powerful tools. And to think what you want to think is to think the truth, regardless of the appearance. That one hit me really hard. Just like the goals that I'm helping people like figure out and break down to achieve, the goals that I have, and like just stopping and looking at it and being like, well, should I be this level? Should I be that level? It's like, yes, there's something else that told me I shouldn't be. So am I going to let the lie become the truth, or am I going to keep the truth the truth? Because we are the ones that put the cap on it, you know, like we're the ones that are like, oh, well, I can only do this. Says who? And having to redo that to myself every day, twice a day, every time I read my winning image story, I'm like, okay, no, this is good. This is totally okay. But I like this, where she was saying on page 94, if you truly desire to blank, fill in the blank. What is your true desire? Fill it in there. And you are hell-bent in your mind and your action to create it. It is the truth. That is where shifts happen. And in talking to different people, they're just like, okay, but I'm not even close to my goal. Okay, did you give yourself a goal to hit 2,500? Did you give yourself a goal to complete district? Did you give yourself a goal to earn the challenge, whatever challenge you're in? If you really desire that, if in your head that's what you really want and you're doing what it takes to get there, then it goes back to work like it's up to you, pray like it's up to God. Like you can only do so much, you know, like you don't have control over everything, but to be reminded that your action, you have to take action. And in taking action, that's when mountains move. If I just sit here every day and I'm just laying in bed and I'm like, I'm earning AIT at level 5. Woohoo! No. Like, is that going to earn it? Or is it when you get out and you're working and then things just start to happen? And like, I have random people calling out of nowhere to order. I was talking to you guys all and was like, okay, we need to discover Arbonne. Let's do a discover Arbonne on Thursday night. I start messaging people. I have people that I messaged that I have been scared to ask or that have said no, that are like, what? You're the one doing it? Absolutely. I'll totally listen in. I'm like, awesome. So get people on. Like, that's tomorrow. But think about, like, okay, take Debbie Neal, for instance. We all decide that we have to have the entire month to work to hit whatever goal it is. Debbie Neal signed up on the 31st of the month and was a district manager by that night. Like, think about that. What would happen if we found those people? Why don't we find those people? Because we don't believe we can find those people. I know they're out there. So I'm going to do as many Discover Arbonnes as I can and like talk to every person you can possibly think of. And we get into, and I'm a procrastinator and breaking myself of this habit I procrastinate. I'm like, well, I'll do this and then I can follow up with them next week, or I'll do this and then I'll do it. So when I talk to you guys, if I'm like, what, can you do it today? I'm not wanting you to get stuck in the procrastination that I have passed down or that I'm letting you know is okay. It's not okay. What would happen if we sped it up? If we sped it up, you would be talking to people, you'd have appointments within the next 2 days, and you'd have signups either that day or the next day. And this would just be a continual rhythm. So fill in what your true desire is, and are you hell-bent in your mind and your action to create it? That's the truth. Like, what is that for you? And I highlighted this whole page, so there's a lot. But one of the big things was the moment you have the audacity to start believing in the not yet seen, your reality will begin to shift. Our big mistake is that we do it the other way around. We want to see the evidence before we will believe it's true. And that is not how it works. You have to work for it, for your reality to shift. So read through, if you don't remember what's on those 2 pages, read through those 2 pages. And on that same one was, whatever your truth is will be the truth as long as you choose to think it. As long as you feed the beast, it's going to live. Your job is not to know how, it's to know the what, and to be open to discovering and receiving the how. So every day I'm like, okay, what's my goal? I'm like, shit, right under it, it's all highlighted. Keep your thoughts directed at your goal. Do everything that you do know how to make it happen, and decide with unwavering determination that will happen, and be on the lookout for the opportunity. So every day I'm like, okay, is what I'm doing getting me closer to my goal? No, then don't do it. Whatever your goal is this getting me where I want to go? No. What's mine? Helping people promote to district. Okay, is this getting me closer to my goal? Nope. Okay, I'm done. Like, is that saying that you cannot take a break? No, you need a break. Like, yesterday was a mentally draining day. Everybody I talked to had some form of a problem, or it was like going through everything over and over. And I was like, okay, I just need to breathe. And I'm driving down Main Street, and there's a white Mercedes in Belgrade. For sale. Just like, I'm tempted to go look at it. Like, I test drove it, and I'm tempted to go buy it, but I would be talking myself down from what I know I want. We went to bed last night, and I was like, that's not my car. Bob's like, yeah, no, you've waited already. Just like, keep going, get the one that you want. Yep, okay, next. You see what I'm saying? Instead of like, but it was almost like, for me, so in one of, I think it was A Secret, Rhonda Byrne, where she was talking about have symbols that you use as a you're on the right path or you're on the wrong path symbols. Like, for some people, every time you hear a siren, just stop and be aware of, like, what are you thinking right now? Are you on the right path or are you on the wrong path? Sirens are usually a sign of disaster, emergency, like freaking out, stop thinking what you're thinking, back up and do something different. So for me, and she gives different ideas of symbols for people. Okay, for me, it's a Mercedes. So mine is, if I'm on the right path, it is white. If it is, you're getting there, it's silver. If it's like, you're kind of there, but you're kind of not, it's green, blue, maroon, whatever, like any other color. And if you're the furthest away from it, it's black. So it's like the color, it's almost like from black to white. So every time I see a Mercedes, if I'm driving or whatever, like, I'm aware of what color it is, because it's telling me, okay, what frequency am I on? Am I on the, okay, this is happening and I'm here to help and serve people? Or is this on a selfish frequency of like, this is for me, this is like, do you know what I mean? Like, a complete negativity. The colors of the Mercedes change. And it's been so cool. Every Mercedes I've seen is white. In the last week and a half, it's like all these Mercedes are white. And just when you think that something is not, or is like you're above it, whatever, God's kind of tapping you on the shoulder, being like, hello, check this out again. Like, I'm reminding you, you're a person. Stop and take a breath. Like, be patient with people. Be kind to people. You need it too. So do they. And just,
I think patient with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I want it now.
And that's the part of me that wants to go look at that car. But it's like, but I know that that's not the car. I stopped and was thinking about it like, okay, we do the same thing with our business. We do the same thing with a husband. We do the same thing with anything about us. We're almost there. And we're like, oh, but I could make this one work. I could, because we're so impatient. We did the same thing with a house. And I wasn't ready for a house. So the entire time we're looking at a house, Bob's ready to just jump on the next thing. And I was like, dude, God has something so much better. Trust. And he just looks at me like, who are you? You know? And not even kidding, the house that we were looking at, okay, did we pay more for it? Yes. But the house that we were looking at was a 2-bedroom that we would have had to take the wall out in between the rooms to make a king-size bed fit in there. 1 bathroom, you could not stand up in the basement, to a house that's like over 3,500 square feet, rooms, whatever, like the difference. And I'm looking at this car going, okay, this is the same thing. This is a car that I can make happen and I can make work and I like the price, but I also know God will never give you something if you're going to suck at keeping it. If you're going to, he's not saying you wouldn't struggle because it needs to be real, but if you're going to suck at keeping it, why would he give it to you? He does not set you up to fail. And that's kind of like in and through this was like the same. It's like, stay looking at your goal. We get sidetracked and we're like, oh, well, if I can't get to district, I'll buy the rest of it. Bullshit. Go work your butt off and talk to people. They're out there to buy it. We just don't talk to them. And it's like we get into that mindset, oh, well, if I do this, then I could make this much money and then I'll just buy the rest of it. Are you going to buy your way to every level? You can't. Like, that's one way to get yourself buried fast. Let people use the product and just talk to people. It's going to happen. On page 99, and I'm not going to go through everything she talks about, but where she's like, ask and it's given. So make sure you're asking for what you want. Act as if it is already. And if it's not, like, what can you do to act like it is? Like putting yourself in the right direction. 3 is upgrade your environment. 4 is make a vision board. And 5 is surround yourself with people who think the way that you think. Surround yourself with people who act on big ideas, who take action and make positive changes in the world, and who see nothing as out of their reach. So that makes you aware of, like, who are you listening to? What books are you reading? What friends do you have? Who are you hanging out with? And the exercise of writing down the people, the 5 closest people to you, rating them from 1 to 5. 5 is the highest energy level. Out of those 5 people, add all their scores up and average divided by 5, and that's the average of the energy that you're going to have and the success you're going to have, because you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Do you like those people? If you don't like your average, change your people. Like, change what groups you're in, change who you're talking to all the time. You control it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That is also going to become a sign. That's like a very sobering thought that slaps you across the face. It's like, okay, if I can't even clean the dishes out of my sink and I don't feel like making my bed, my business will look the same. What would happen if I just took a couple extra minutes to wash the dishes and pull the covers up over the pillows? How hard is that? You know, like, it doesn't take anything extra. And then Chapter 12 is talking about her in a rock band and
slash rock band.
Right. Like I said, what she's like, how when you're younger you just bulldoze forward, and what does it look like? Like, kind of go at life with, I just want to see what I can get away with, in a good sense, not in a cheating anybody out of anything sense. But figuring out, number 2 is losing track of time, figuring out what you're doing when you lose track of time, and do those things more often. And keep being the beginner. This one I loved, because even in Arbonne, we can get to the point where it's like every struggle you guys can possibly go through, I've already been through. Every single struggle, okay? You guys are just taking 2 years or less to go through it. Mine was like 9. Okay, you guys, most of my team the ones that are here in the last 2 years have come. 9 years prior to that, list any problem that you're having right now. I've already had it, and I was stuck in it for between 7 to 8 to 9 years. So anything that you tell me, you're having a bad day, it's like almost like you guys don't want to tell me if something's wrong or if you feel shitty today. I felt that way for years. Like it's not news to me. But I also know what changes you from feeling that way. And sometimes we want to not be in it, but other times we want to wallow in it because we want to make sure that we know that we're right, that it sucks that bad. Who is that helping? The only thing in that you're going to watch decline will be your relationships, your health, your mental clarity, your excitement, your passion. Everything about you will die if you stay there. Okay, I know this. I've already been through it. So seeing you guys struggle with it, you kind of have to struggle with it to learn yourself. But at the same time, it's hard for me to leave you there because I know I don't want you to feel those things, right? This is what she's talking about. Keep being the beginner. Keep helping those people. Keep being an idiot. Keep being you don't know what you're talking about. You fall down, you get up, you keep going. You get really good at it. But you have to keep falling down, keep getting up, and keep going. You don't want to lose having fun in the process. So it can be, like if we're working, it can all be, you do this, and this. And the skeleton of Arbonne is super regimented. Okay, but I can do the same skeleton and have fun with anybody that I'm doing it with. I can be me doing it and not be somebody else. But the only thing that you need to do is the very best that you can. Every single day, and I was listening to a training when I was running, I was listening to a training, and she was talking about shine bright like a diamond. And every time you want to quit, or every night when you go to bed, or whatever, anytime you're doubting yourself, ask yourself the question, did I do the absolute best that I could have done? And the answer will always be no. Because we're always we're always shrinking back. So when you're looking at whatever it is you're wanting, and you're pushing for, and you're working for, and you're showing, are you doing the best you can do? When you constantly live in, you're doing the best you can do, it doesn't matter what numbers behind your month, it doesn't matter who you talked to, who you didn't talk to, it doesn't matter who said no to you, you are always happy. Because their responses has nothing to do with how you feel. Because you gave it the best you had in that moment. Will the best you have change day to day? Absolutely. But every day, are you giving it the best that you've got? I'm going to end on that. Anybody have ideas or add-ins? No? Okay, so I'm sure I'll talk to most people today. I have hair appointments until like 2 or 3, and canceled date night because I'm earning AIT. I was like, I'll hang out with you all weekend. So I've got tons of stuff, like tons of calls and stuff to make, and we have a Discover Arbonne on Thursday, so make sure you're inviting people to that. I posted the link and stuff in our Facebook group and tagged as many people as I could think of. If I miss people, go underneath and tag them in the comments. And just ask yourself all day today and this week, are you doing the best you can do? Hugs.